Venerable sisters and brothers, this is the 287th, according to our calculation, retreat we are having in this hall. And today being the first session of the question and answers, I will give a just briefing about basically for the beginners. Question and answers have three purposes. And coming to the question and answer session, we must have three basics which we have already provided from the Nissarana, and they must be assured. First, all the lay people would have taken the precepts. That is already happened. Am I correct? Yeah. And the second thing is the basic instruction about whenever you get a sitting time and walking, how to do sitting meditation, how to do walking, and how to do day-to-day activities already given. If it is not complete or if it is not happen, Rupika will provide that facilities. And the other thing is the orientation about this center. What is the sitting time, what is the walking time, what is the lunch time, where are the best toilets and where are the water, and all that kind of very orientation. So that is also being given. So therefore, if anyone is having any doubt about these three, why we should have precepts, why we should have special orientation for the center kind of thing, you can ask it and we can sort it out in the discussion. And beyond that, that is basically for the first day, I am giving this kind of introduction and giving the basics. And the second thing is, or the first thing in the question and answers, we call this a question and answer because this is the only time we give for the audience to raise your voice. And you can talk. You can present in a written form or you can come to the mic and you can speak. And therefore this we call question and answer. But in Sinhala we call Kamatahan Suddha Karnawa. That means you are providing your interview reports and we are revising it and give instructions. This is the second purpose. The third purpose is a discussion. Specifically that today at 4 o'clock there will be a Dhamma discourse, and upon that if you have any question which was not clear, you can start discussion or a dialogue. That also we will take care. So therefore question and answer session, Dhamma discussion and interview report, that's also being defined for this hour. And I kindly request, besides that, don't talk. This is the time we can talk each other. But still it is still pertaining to our own sitting. It is pertaining to our own Dhamma discussion, not about the worldly affairs or politics or what you have heard about from the other places and other teachers. We are not going to take it. Whatever is relevant to us and we can give, our own experience, pragmatic, that we can take. So earlier we used to have one-to-one interviews. But retreats went up to 40, 60, ultimately 100. So it was too much. Therefore, I started a common discussion, and this is the only place where we have the group interviews. So whatever you have written, put into the box, Rupika will be reading. And after that, if you have time, I will invite you to give any other topics or any other interviews, reports, but I also sometimes interrupt whenever the report is not incomplete. I would like to have the presenters, writers, inputs. So I think this is enough to start the session. And 1 or 2 days time, definitely we will learn more. Those who are familiar with this already know. I am taking time only for the newcomers and reminder for the old people. And with that remarks, I would like to ask Rupika kindly present already written questions to start the session in a conventional way.
Reverend Bhante, Thero, walking meditation. I observe my movements of my foot. When I raise my foot, taking forward, I feel the lightness, and also when foot is kept down, feel the hardness and or coolness of the floor, stroke mat. I am mindful on all movements. I note the body get calm and light. I keep on watching to notice the arising and passing of each movement. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, this is fairly okay to start with the retreat because this is talking about the walking meditation and basically reporting about the touch of the left leg and the right leg on the ground. That means basics are okay. But in order to make it more formal, I would like to give a few instructions regarding writing the report. You have to first tell, I am going to talk about the walking meditation. That's the introductory sentence. And then you have to write, what is my primary object? So to say, left leg and the right leg. And then you start the report whenever you started with left leg and the right leg. You are not talking about the other cock and bull stories, no. This is, I am going to report walking meditation, my primary object is this. And after writing the basic body of your essay, you can write, I have a few questions to start with this and this question and that, no problem. But you have to start with the very clear way. And this report, the very first one presented, no any sitting. Imagine if someone is going to say sitting, walking, day-to-day activities, without the topic, confusion can happen. And without introducing your primary object, confusion can happen. So therefore, tell the session, tell the primary object, and tell whenever you are face to face with the primary object, that's a starting point. And after writing, if you wish to report any other distractions, you can report. This is for the general instruction. Specifically about this report, I would say, having presented fairly a good report, the writer has to tell how many steps you can continuously be aware, how many steps you can be mindful. And that will indicate you yourself can see the progress, whether the number is increasing by number of steps or seconds or minutes. And that indicates the quantitative evaluation of the mindfulness. Whenever it is coming to continuously 10 steps or 10 laps or 10 minutes, then you can start, if at all, any difference between the left leg and the right leg. Then the insight meditation going to start. So therefore, at the beginning, we have to make the ground clear. My mindfulness is with the left leg and right leg. And while continuing, I can stay steadfast with the mindfulness for so much of steps or laps. And within that, I can see this is right leg, not the left leg. This is the left leg, not the right leg. Like discrete understanding about the touch of the right leg and the left leg. And that is the way we are analyzing, we are increasing and improving the analytical part of the mind. So this report has not touched that. So next time, please, if you have applied that inquiring mind and what was the result. And that will give the sap, the ooze, the juice of the meditation. With that remark, we are going to the next report, please.
Most Venerable Bhante, Avasarai, walking meditation. Primary object, Osavanava, Ginayanava, Tabanava. Practiced walking meditation in choir mat and sand path. Observed how the soul lifts up and lifted fully with tuft toe tips on ground. Can feel the small sand falling down that were being attached to soul. Minor pain in sciatic nerve and left leg was there, but no hindrance to meditation. Thoughts arise quite a lot, able to walk 10 to 15 steps mindfully. Try to remain the mindfulness while turning in path and while going back to sitting meditation. Sitting meditation, primary object, extraction and contraction of chest. Do not feel a specific point at which the breath touches. Focus on chest and upper body. Pains and sounds do not cause any hindrance. Thoughts arise quite a lot. That is a common hindrance to my meditation since sound stopped bothering. Other activities. Observe the legs when climbing stairs. Numbness and pain was observed. Ate mindfully, counting the bites, and observe texture, smell, colors and taste. And she has a small request. Most Venerable Bhante, please mention the Sinhala terms for the English translations of difficult Pali words in the Dhamma sermon.
I have not given a Dhamma sermon yet. So it's a request for the tomorrow maybe. So you have to write difficult part, then I can think about giving. I usually don't take this responsibility because it's a heavy burden to me. Either English or either in Sinhala. Because I have to often change the channel from the Sinhala to English, English to Sinhala, then I will get turmoil inside. But anyway, this report is better than the early one. 2 sessions, walking, I am going to write about the walking, and my primary objective is the touch of the left leg and the right leg. And on top of that, the small tiny things experienced in the touching, well explained. So that means mind is diversified. Mind is very, very vigilant, very diligent. More you see tiny little things, that means mind become more mindful, or we can say very vigilant, very diligent, very immediate. Under such circumstances, there won't be any lethargic, any sleepiness, any boredom. So therefore, this meditation system indicates how enthusiastic, how the mind is, how much mind is engaged. And the sitting meditation also mention and say contraction and expansion of the chest. Well and good. But I can't exactly pinpoint good. Many, those who are sitting here or anyone is listening, can have many touching points. But you have to pinpoint according to your configuration of the body, according to your personality, which one is the focal point. Or we can say the benchmark. We can say the benchmark or pivotal point. So you have to tell. Don't expect that someone to anticipate it. Sometimes you can feel at the end of the nostril. Sometimes you feel at the bend. Sometimes you can feel at the chest. Or you can feel at the navel point. Or you can feel the touching point. Whatever it may be. So therefore these are the improvements from the last report to the second one. And then you can explain how, when you keep on practicing, how many breath cycles, how many expansion and contraction you can do. And that indicates how much mind is touchy, how much mind is face to face, so immediate with the primary object. So that means you have very clearly understand, you have taken the primary basic instructions, and your report also indicate you digest them, and your report is good. So therefore see how long you can maintain the walking, how long you can see the sitting, and more you become immediate, you can thin slice the time. Very tiny particles, not the whole breath is as a one shot. You can see it is also slices. And then each and every one is discrete. Each and every one is delimited. So much so, your mind becomes vigilant. And there is no chances for the boredom to set in, lethargic or monotony to set in. So at the beginning it is difficult, but today being the first day, you have to appreciate whenever you can see tiny little things, and that indicates Mind has the capacity. Mind is having the potential. Mind has the possibility. You have to facilitate it. You have to catalyze it. And then you can see easily mind can penetrate into the object. So difficult terms, it is not it's essential thing. But anyway, I appreciate while you are practicing, you have to learn the terminology. And so that inferential knowledge and deductive knowledge will be increasing. It must be very aesthetic way. Do must not rush it. Slowly, slowly it is catching. So therefore you have to take notes and see relationship with the Pali terms, Sinhala terms, English terms, if possible Sanskrit terms, Burmese terms, and then you can understand different shades of meaning. Otherwise we think one word means one meaning. It is completely wrong. As you keep on practicing, you are ever redefining terms. So that means you are evolving. So therefore keep it open. Don't expect there are direct translations. Nowadays we are lucky. We have so much of good scholars, could given number of translations. So personally what I do is, I take the Buddha Jayanti books and then the Sinhala and English Pali, and then I read English books also, and I can read little Burmese. I take Burmese notion, and nowadays I am learning Sanskrit. And take as much as possible. I find scholars are utterly blind. They try to understand one word with one meaning. I have to say sorry. The meaning is always evolving as you evolve, but that theoretical understanding of the terminology indicates how much you are progressing, but don't think this is the only way. There are many, many ways. So if you know many languages easier, otherwise you have to top up. Bring all the shades and going. I was so happy, I was so lucky to have Venema Jnanarama and Venema Katukurunde Jnanananda. They are an expert. Who Pandita Sayadaw, expert. Whatever the term he is using is thorough. So he can give different word meaning or shades. So we have to do that also, but it is not a must. So we are going to the third report.
Most Venerable Bhante, now and again in English Dhamma discussion and currently at Bhante Chandraratana's English Sutta teaching, Vipassana versus Samatha is discussed, different opinions expressed. Obviously, there is a multitude of understandings, and I became interested in further investigating the topic. So I went back to Ayakema, who was a confirmed jhana master and successful teacher, and to Bhante Gunaratana, of whom I had read explanations of the jhanas several years ago. Of the teachers I know, Ayakema and Bhante Ji are the two whose jhana teachings make sense to me. I am not speaking about right or wrong. This I don't know, but what they say appears reasonable to me. Asked whether path and fruition and final liberation can be realized with Vipassana only, Ayakema says, yes, but it must be terribly difficult because it's so smooth with the jhana. The arupa experiences at an absorption level are so striking that it must automatically lead to insight. Bhante Ji's reply to same question is that...
Don't put these things into the discussion. This is not a class. I am asking, have you got the basic instructions? Did you practice? And please let me your practice. Don't bring Bhante Gunaratana here. Don't bring Ayakema here. We can do at the library. But here we come, have you got the basic instructions? Did you practice it? What is your experience? Authentically you can tell. But Ayakema is dead and gone. Bhante Ji also, now in the bedridden situation. So you are living. Why you are connecting with each other? And if I make a statement, I am making sometimes question with these great characters. I don't like. Our Dayaka Sabha says, Bante, don't take these issues because other people will think I am going to pass my judgment about them. Leave aside the Samatha and Vipassana. So my simple instruction is, if you have any question regarding the basic instructions, please ask Rupika. She will give. Please put it to practice. And please let me know. After that, of course, if we have the chance, we can go to these theoretical questions if the others are happy, if the others are okay. But I don't think everyone is happy with these theory questions. Because we can do it in libraries. And I don't like. I don't promote. So therefore, if you have any practical experience or pragmatic report or any difficulty in sitting and walking, we can share. So therefore, please don't come out with this kind of comparative religion, comparative teachers, comparative methods. We have our own system. We are not hesitant. 287th retreat. Don't get confused. Don't bring this and that teachers into the discussion, and if I am going to make a statement that leading to unwanted repercussions, I am very careful. So shall we bypass this question and go to the next, please?
Avasarai Bante, I used to do walking meditation over 7 years, and I do it regularly at home in the mornings and at night. After a proper start, I start my walking meditation with sati, lifting, osavanawa, moving and keeping, tabanawa. Once the mind becomes quite stable on that, I drop the above thinking part and barely observe only the sensation of the body, lower part. While doing so, one day, at a glance, in a short time, it became clear that there is no person and there is no walking. It is only a set of sensations. It was difficult to define a person or action. After that day, walking meditation is always naturally focused on only the sensation is most prominent. Please explain if my meditation is on the right path. Avasarai.
Yeah, so this we can say from the formal, from the concrete form, the starting point. And then it becomes informal, scattered, and still you can still go back to the primary or concrete form, and again you can go to the order to disorder, from the explainable to unexplainable. So that change is our evolution in our human life. We start with probabilities. We start with the left leg, right leg, lifting, moving, dropping, cut and dry. After a while, everything becomes jumble, and you are the person. Action is taking place. Still, you can have a bird's eye view, and you can observe it. And again, they will come into the orderly manner, lifting, moving, dropping, and again it comes into the flux. So these two happening in the left brain and the right brain. Usually we don't use right brain. We only do the left brain, whereby lifting, moving, dropping is the only thing. But when the meditation happens, when the equilibrium happens, sometimes everything shifted into the right brain. Then it have a system approach. You are just an entity. Walking is happening. Left leg, right leg, no harm. Everything happening in a flux. So many people understand the cut and dry system is better, and that mixing up and the flux is wrong. There are some people, they say flux is correct, the linear relationship and left to right understanding is correct, wrong. So that is why we have Samatha and Vipassana people. So therefore just give a formal approach in lifting, moving, dropping, left leg, right leg. The more you can explain this is right, not the left, this is left, not the right, this is lifting, not the moving, not the dropping, that means you are starting the essay with your language in the formalities. When it is happening, everything becomes automatic. Everything becomes autopiloting. It is not a mistake. Asking this question is very valid. So therefore, formal to informal way. From the system to no systematic. And from explainable to unexplainable. From the self to no self. And not only that, from the margin and boundaries, go to the no boundary situation. So again from no boundary to the boundary happen. Boundary to the no boundary happen. Imagine when you become advanced, within an hour, 20 times it can go this way and that way. Again the in-breath and out-breath, or left leg, right leg happen. Again it becomes mixed up. Again it becomes clear. Again cut off. Mix it up. So likewise it is happening, I would call a mature yogi. Just letting the meditation to happen in its own way. Don't try to put it into the formal way. Don't try to put it into the informal way. So our education has completely corrupted our mind. Education is lenient. It's only systems available. And unlucky enough, people put Buddha also into the systematic way. There is no such a system. Starting with the system and end up with no system. Our mind can accommodate both. Specifically in Nissarana. So therefore, your guess or your bewilderment or your uncertainty is quite valid. Next time, as Venerable Jnanarama, my teacher, used to say, go prepared, everything will be a mess. No harm. Again, it will be in a systematic way. Again, it will be a mess. So like when it is happening, you will be just a distance observer. You are not going to make everything formal. If everything formal, definitely you are destined to hell. That is how Krishnamurti explained very well. Systematic thing is systematically you sent to the hell. So you have to learn in this very life, the system lead to unsystematic way. Unsystematic again leading it to system. So it is none of your business. And you have no rights to say this is good and this is bad. But our teachers and parents and everyone says, you must decide this is good, this is bad. So ultimately your mind becomes bipolar. So this is a very nice thing. I never expected in the first day this kind of report. This should have been from the senior yogi. So therefore, go to the mindfulness with open-minded, or we can say choiceless awareness. Or we can say evenly suspended attention. Or suspended decision. These are the terms I picked from the English books. Do it, always start with system. No harm. That is why we have got the basic instruction. But don't try to end with that. We'll go to the system, no system, asystematic and systematic. Then the mind becomes rejuvenated. Otherwise you are in utter rut. That's the way our education has put ourselves into such a blinkers and rut. So we are not meant for vipassana. But that does not indicate our neuroplasticity stopped. No, it can go. So therefore go prepared for this asystematic course here. Unsystematic method, and just wait from the non-systematic to again it becomes systematic. Again go there, so therefore you can get a distance from things and you can observe as it is, just like a bird's eye view, and then you see evolution starts. They are stopped in 2 million years ago. Now again you can mind become systematic, you can opt into the non-systematic system or systematic way, and you see nothing, you have no responsibilities because it is like autopiloting. That does not indicate you are losing the control. That does not indicate that you are losing mindfulness. Specifically you are not losing concentration. Still with this kind of a bipolar situation, still there is a concentration. Still there is a consistency. Still there is the sustainability. That is usually happening for the ordained people and the full-time yogis, they can understand. But if you are doing in a part-time and few hours a day or sort of thing, may not be catching and gathering the momentum. But still I invite you to have an open-minded situation that we call the mindset. When you go to the meditation, go with anything. But always start with the system. Safely I can tell that. Shall we move it to the next, please?
Venerable Sir, there are 2 online questions in Sinhala. Theruwan Saranai Swamin Wahanse, Paryanka Bhavanawa. මම මෙතන ලෙස සතිමත් උනිමි. ආනාපානයේ මූලික කමටහනයි. අත්දැකීම් වචන වලට හැරවීමට නොහැකි බවකි. වචන දැමූ විට බොරුවක් අස්වාභාවික යමක් ලියන්නට යන වගක් හැඟී නිරුත්තර වීමක් වේ. සක්මන් භාවනාව විනාඩි 30යි. මම මෙතන ලෙස සතිමත් උනේමි. අත්දැකීම් මැකින වගක් ඇත. සිතුවිලි ආවග මතකය. එය සක්මන් භාවනාව ලෙස පටන් ගත්තද එයට නමක් නැත. වචන නැති තැනක සිට විස්තර කළ නොහැක. එදිනෙදා ජීවිතයේ සතිමත් බව. පෙර සතිය නැති විට ස්පර්ශයෙන් සතිමත් වූ බව හුදු සිතුවිල්ලක් වී ඇත. සතිය නැති බවද සිතුවිල්ලක්. අරමුණෙන් අරමුණට මාරු වීමක් පමණි. සිතුවිලි ලොකු ස්තරයකින් ඈත් වී බවක් පෙනේ. පෙරමෙන් ප්‍රකට නැත. ළඟට ආ නොහැකි දුරින් සිට කියන්නම් මෙන් ඒවා දුරින් යයි. ඊටත් වඩා යම් ස්තරයක් සිතුවිලි උඩින් ඇති බවකි. වේලාවකට සිතුවිලි හොඳටම ඈත් වේ. එවිට හඳුනා ගැනීමට යම් වෙහෙසක් දැරිය යුතු අතර කරන කාර්ය විස්තර කිරීම හෝ ඊට නම් දීම් නැත. ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ වරදක් ඇතොත් නිවැරදි කර පුහුණුව ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යාමට මට මඟ පෙන්වනු මැනවි. ඔබ වහන්සේට නිදුක් නිරෝගී සුවම වේවා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ආව නිසා තමයි බුදුරජාණන්සේ බණ නොකියන්නේ හිතුවේ. බණ නොකිය හිටෙන අපි ඔක්කොම අනාතයි. නිසා දන්න කෙනෙකුට තේරෙයි කියලා ඕම හරි ලියන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් පටන් ගන්නකොටම අනාත්මය මුල් කරගත්ත දෘෂ්ටියකට ඉඳලා මේ ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක සබ්බාසව සූත්‍රයේ බුදුරජාණන්සේ පෙන්නනවා පටන් ගන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලාම කියන්න බෑ, ලියන්න බෑ. සිස්ටම් එකක් නැහැ කියලා පටන් ගත්තොත් හැමදාම ඔතන කැරක් ඉන්නවා බලුවමනයක් වගේ. නේ කියන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්න බැරි බව කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක සිස්ටම් එක. ඊට පස්සේ සිස්ටම් එක කැඩෙනවා. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ ඒක බේස් කරගෙන ඒක බේස් කරගන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හැබැයි දෘෂ්ටියක ඉන්නවා මේ අනාත්ම නැත්තම් උච්ඡේද දෘෂ්ටියකට බර වෙලා. ඒ නිසා බබාගේ භාෂාවෙන් ලියන්න. එච්චරයි කියන්නේ. සිස්ටමැටිකලි කියන්න උත්සාහ කරනකොට අපිට තේරෙනවා කවදාකවත් අපි කරන ප්‍රකාශ 100%ක් විස්තර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ ප්‍රකාශ වෙන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. අපි කියන්නේ බබාගේ භාෂාව කියලානේ. බබාගේ භාෂාවෙන් කියන්නේ. ඉතින් කරන්න බෑ කියලා පටන් ගත්තොත් කොහොමඩක් කරන්න බෑ. ඉතින් බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේත් බුදු වෙලා නොකියන්නේ හිටියා. මොකද කියන්න බෑ මේක. මහා බ්‍රහ්මයා ඇවිල්ලා තමයි ආරාධනා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. අනේ ලෝකේ විනාශයි කිව්වේ නැත්තම් වහන්සේ කියන්නේ කියලා. අසජි හාමුදුරුවෝ ගාට ගියාට පස්සේ කෝලිත පරිබ්‍රාජකයත් කිව්වට අසජි හාමුදුරුවෝ මට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මං අලුත් නෑ ඔබ වහන්සේ කියන්නේ මං 10ක් 9 තේරුම් ගන්නම් කිව්වා. වැඩි ගියා. ඒ නිසා පුළුවන් තරම් මූලික කමටහන් ගන්න. අපි ළඟ තියෙන පුංචි පොතක් කමඨාන් උපදේශ ලියන හැටි කමඨාන් වාර්තා ලියන හැටි ආන්න ඒක ෆලෝ කරලා සිස්ටම් එකට යන්න. ගිහිල්ලා සිස්ටම් එක නැති කරුවට කමක් නැහැ. හැබැයි බැහැ ගන්න සිස්ටම් එකක් ඕන. ගඟට බහින්න තොටු පොලක් ඕන. හැමතැනම බහින්න බෑ. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා මෙවැනි කෙනෙකුට හරි වටිනවා මූලික උපදේශ. මෙවැනි කෙනෙකුට හරි වටිනවා කමඨාන් වාර්තාවක් ලියන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක බබෙක් වගේ කරන්න. ඒක මේ පැහිකමින් පටන් ගන්න එපා. භාවනාවේ ක්‍රමයෙන් යන්න අරින්න පැහිකමට. ඒ නිසා දන්න භාෂාවෙන් පොඩි එකෙක් අම්මට කතා කරන්න වගේ ඔය ලියලා තියෙන ක්‍රමය හොඳයි. නැවත නැවත වාර්තා ලියන්න යෝගාවචර උපදේශනය කියලා පොතක් අපි මෙහෙන් අච්චු ගාව ඒක පඬිස්සංශගේ පොතක් මේ කමඨාන් ලියන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා ඒකල බෑ කියලා පටන් ගන්න එපා. එතකොට කවදාකවත් ගොඩ වෙන්න බෑ. දන්න ක්‍රමයට ලියන්න යම් ප්‍රමාණයක sannivedanayak වෙයි. අපි පුළුවන් විදිහට උත්සාහ කරමු. yes.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි අති ගෞරවනීය ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ පර්යංකේ සතිය පැවැත්වීම මූල කර්මස්ථානයේ ආනාපානයයි. හුස්ම රැල්ලේ ලක්ෂණ උණුසුම සිසිලස දිගු බව කෙටි බව අත්දැකීමින් හුස්ම සංසිඳීම කෙටි වේලාවකින්ම සිදුවේ. ආශ්වාසයේ හා ප්‍රාශ්වාසයේ වෙනස් බව හඳුනා ගැනීමට නොහැකි තරම්ම සියුම් වීම සිදුවේ. මෙසේ හුස්ම සංසිඳී ගිය පසු කය දෙස හොඳින් බලාගෙන සිටීම සිදු කරමි. කයේ ඊටමත් සංසුන් භාවයක් නිරීක්ෂණය කරමි. ගතේ සිතේ දැනෙන මේ සැහැල්ලු අත්දැකීමින් සතිය පැවැත්වුවෙමි. මේ අතර සිත තුල විවිධාකාර සිතුවිලි දාම ඇති වෙමින් නැතිවීම නිරීක්ෂණය කළෙමි. මේ తත්වය තුල අරමුණ තුල සතිය හා අරමුණින් පිට සතිය පවත්වන ආකාරය හොඳින් පෙනේ. මේ පවතින සිතුවිලි දාමයන් වලින් අරමුණට මාරු වීම කීප විටකදීම નિરાයාසයෙන්ම සිදු වුණු අතර අරමුණේ සංසිඳුණු ස්වභාවය එසේම පැවතුණු බව හැම අවස්ථාවකදීම නිරීක්ෂණය කළෙමි. ඔබ වහන්සේගෙන් කලින් ලැබුණු උපදෙස් මත මේ ගලා යන්නා වූ සිතුවිලි දාමයෙන් මම නෙවෙයි, මගේ නෙවෙයි, මගේ ආත්මය නෙවෙයි යන ස්වરૂපයෙන් බලා සිටීමට උත්සාහ ගත්ෙමි. යම් යම් අවස්ථාවන් වල මෙම සිතුවිලි වලට ගොදුරු බවට පත්වීමට සිදු වුණි. බොහෝ විට කලින් හිතට කාවැදුණු තරමක් අමිහිර වූ අත්දැකීම් මතුවීම තුලින් මෙය සිදු වුණු බවක් වැටහුණි. කීපවර නිරීක්ෂණය කිරීමේදී දැනගත දෙයක් වූයේ මේ මගේ කර ගැනීම සිදු වුණි. කෙසේ වුවත් මම නොවේයි, මගේ නෙවෙයි, මගේ ආත්මය නොවේයි යනුවෙන් සිතට නැගීම තුල ඒ අමිහිරි සිතුවිලි වලත් ගෙවී යාම ඇත්දැක්කේය. නමුත් සමහර විටක මෙය විතර්ක කරන වාසේ දැනෙන ස්වභාවයක් දැනේ. මේ දේ වරදක් පවතිනවා නම් පැහැදිලි කර දෙන සේක්වා. බොහෝ විට කලින්ට වඩා දීර්ඝ වේලාවක් පසු පර්යංකය නිමවීම සිදුවේ. පැයකට වැඩි සතුට සංසිඳීම පහසුව සෑම විටම අවසානයේ පවතින්නේය. තවදුරටත් භාවනාවේ වර්ධනය කර ගැනීම සඳහා උපදෙස් ලබා දෙනමින් කාරුණිකව ඔබ වහන්සේගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිමි. උතුම් වූ නිර්වාණාබෝධය පිණිසම මේ සියලු උපකාරයන් හේතු වේවා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
මූල කර්මස්ථානයේ ඉන්නකොට සක්මණේ හෝ පරියංගෙදී ගොඩක් හිතවිලි, වේදනා, සද්ද ගොඩක් එනවා. ඒක ඉතින් අහන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මොකද අපි සාමාන්‍ය ලෝකෙනේ ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. නමුත් ටික වේලාවක් යන පින සද්ද තිබුණට හුස්ම ගැනීම නතර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. වේදනා දැනුණට හුස්ම ගන්න එක නතර කරලා වේදනාව බලන්නේ නැහැ. හිතවිලි ආවට හුස්ම ගන්න එක නතර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපිට තියෙන හොරාපොලිස් සෙල්ලමක් හිතවිලි වේදනා සද්ද මැද හුස්ම ගන්නවද කියලා වරින් වර බලන්න. සක්මන් කරනකොටත් වේදනා සද්ද හිතවිලි ආවා කියලා හිතගෙන ඉන්නේ අපි ඇවිදිනවා. ඉතින් ඒ ඇවිදිල්ල සද්ද අතර කරන වෙලාව සහ සද්ද නැතුව කරන වෙලාව කියන එක දෙකක් මම පිළිගන්නවා. නමුත් ඒ තියෙද්දි ඇවිදින එකට මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඊටාම දක්ෂ කට්ටිය කියනවා මේ හිතවිලි තියෙද්දි වේදනා තියෙද්දි සද්ද තියෙද්දි හුස්ම තාම සංසිඳෙනවා කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ හුස්ම වෙනම භාවනාවක් කරනවා. ඒක දැකපු දවසේ පේනවා හිත කලබල කරගත්තොත් අර හුස්මත් ඇවිස්සෙනවා. කලබල කරගන්න එපා. මේ හිතවිලි වේදනා සද්ද වලට එන්න අරින්න. ඒ තුලින් හුස්ම දිහා බලන්න. හිතවිලි වේදනා සද්ද වල සංසිඳි බලන්න යන්න එපා. මූල කර්මස්ථානයේ සංසිඳි බලන්න. එතකොට තේරෙවි. ඔය ගණන් ගන්න නැති විදිහට ඒව සංසිඳනක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ගණන් ගත්තොත් ඇවිස්සෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා ඒව එන එකෙන් අපිට ලොකු ශිල්පයක් දක්වන්න පුළුවන්. ඒව එන එකෙන් අපිට ලොකු උරුබූටිකමක් ඇති කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒව තියෙද්දි මේවා සංසිඳීම නතර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ ලෝකෙ මෙච්චර මේ උද්දමනයක් තියෙද්දිත් අපි භාවනා කරනවා. ලෝකේ අපිට බයින්න ඇති. උන්ට කැක්කුමක් නැහැ ලෝකේ ගැන මේ තාව මාළුවට භාවනා කරනවා කියලා. ඉතින් අපිත් උඩ ගිහලා නටවුවයි කියලා අපිට මොකක්වත් ලෝකෙට වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. අපි කියන්නේ උඹලට පුළුවන් නම් උඹලත් මේක පොඩක් බලලා සතුටු වෙල්ලයි කියලා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා කොයි දේ සිද්ධ වුණත් සිද්ධ වෙන අතර වාරේ මේ දේවල් වල තැම්පත් වීම කොහොමටත් වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඒක හරිම දක්ෂකමක්. මේ ලෝකේ දේවල් ඔක්කොම අවුස්සද්දි මට පේනවා මගේ ඇඟ තැම්පත් වෙනවා. මට පේනවා මගේ හුස්ම තැම්පත් වෙනවා. මට පේනවා මගේ වම දකුණ තැම්පත් වෙනවා. ඇවිස්සෙන වෙලාවලුත් එනවා. මම නෑ කියන්නේ නෑ. නැත්නම් තැම්පතුව දැක්කනම් පේනවා මේ සතිය තරම් බලවත් සතිය යට කරන්න පුළුවන් කිසිම කෙලෙසයක් නෑ. ඒ නිසා ඕනේ ඇවිස්සීලා තියේදී ඒක දැනගන්න පුළුවන් නිසා සතියේ බලමහිමේ තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. ওই විදිහට කරන්ඩ ඒ අතර වාරයේ මූල කර්මස්ථානයේ ඇති වෙන වෙනස දකින්න කියන එක තමයි කියන්නේ. Okay, that's the end of the question and answer. Last two was in Sinhala. So I answered in Sinhala. If anyone is having any clarification necessary, today I can give a chance because we have about 15 minutes. Otherwise, we are going to take that chance, space, time for walking meditation. And also I would like to use only this hall so that we can switch off all the fans from this side because our electricity bill is very, very high. So reduce all the possible. Shall we organize only this side so that we can make use, because this is more fans are available here. So we can forget about this part and we can save little electricity and switch off all the bulbs and try our possible way. So if there are no questions, no any remarks, I would like to sum up the situation, and we'll be meeting at 2:30. We have 45 minutes of walking meditation. 2:30 we are meeting here for a common group sitting. That will go up to 3:30. And 3:30 to 4, 30 minutes of walking session, and then we start the evening Dhamma talk. That is the schedule immediately. With that remark, I would like to sum up this thing. Wishing you all the best for the walking and sitting.